hello everyone. Um, Before the actual episode starts, I want to say some minor things. First of all, I apologize again for the connection issues we have sometimes. LD and me, especially from the visual side, I think that most of you will probably care more for the audio, but we have serious lags LD has serious lags in our recording, and sometimes he even cuts off a bit. I hope you don't mind it. We try to fix it. I think it's just the issue that we are too far away or something. Also, here, like in Japan, where we live, is not the best. We have not the best connection internet. So I just want to say I'm aware of that, but how to get that fixed. I hope you don't mind it. And the second thing is, we recorded yesterday, and after that already we saw some really, really good and playable reveals. So we didn't forget that. We just didn't know about them. So if you miss some really, really playable cards we talk about for the next set, we will talk about them next week. We didn't forget them. We just didn't know they exist. So don't be confused that we don't talk about them. Yes. Other than that, thanks for watching and have fun with the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 48 of the ArtaCast. This week with a lot of things, and I hope we can get through all the stuff that we want to talk about because this week will be Milwaukee, DLC Milwaukee, which is, of course, very exciting to um, to see what's happening there and who will come out winning. But it's a bit overshadowed by the reveal season already begun for the new set. Set 10 is not too far away, and all this. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, Eddie, but I'm always when when reveal season LD season when reveal season is, I get so excited every day. I wake up and think, oh my gosh, are there new cards revealed, and I want to see them, and it's so exciting for me. So it's a bit sad that Milwaukee will be set 10, but it's still set 9, and but it still will be, of course, a great event, and I'm looking forward to see it. How do you feel about the game, LD? And are you already also excited for the new set? I guess so, right?
Yeah, massively. And I mean, what you've just like the feeling you've just explained is like how I always feel during set reveal season. But it's bigger this time than normal. The reveals have been, I'd say, consistently a lot more promising than a lot of previous sets. There's a feeling building that this could be a very, very influential set. Something in the vein of, if you think back a long time to Rise of the Floodborn, the sort of impact that had on the game for months and years after, it's easy to forget now, but you look back and the Popsicle Hiram package, the Bounce package, um, Cindy and the Good Three, like, and Storm, they all came from the same set, and this is kind of building. I don't know if we'll have a repeat of anything quite like that again. That was almost too good, but it's kind of building in the same way. It feels like a very, very significant set. So it's hard to move past that feeling because there's a lot of excitement. And for me, there's a building feeling that it's not just like we're used to when we have a new set revealed, we're used to thinking, okay, which decks do these cards slot into? Which decks do they improve? Well, there's a bigger feeling building in me that, like, actually, a lot of the fundamental rules of the format could shift. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of our assumptions about what cards are playable and what aren't could change. And it's one of the first times, even more so than rotation, interestingly, it's one of the first times where I'm trying to rethink about decks from the ground up based on some of these new cards, based on some of these new quote unquote rules of the format,
Mm-hmm.
which is mostly the rule that's changing seems to be like what the average size of a card should be for its relative cost. Things are bigger and cheaper, and yeah, like your baseline of a 3 cost 4/4 inkable with no downside.
Yeah,
Things are shifting,
that's
and it's going to have a big impact on the game for sure. So
for sure.
yeah, obviously DLC Milwaukee is a really, really big deal, and it would be great to just be purely focused on it. But it's hard to look past the fact that the game looks set to change in a pretty significant way very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm also uh, yeah, so much excited for what you said. There are so many things that I really like and I would love to explore, but still we want to be professional and we want to look at no, I think it still needs a lot of look like what's happening right now.
Yep,
And I would ask you just for the beginning, for leading up to Milwaukee, what do you know what deck you would choose um, to play in Milwaukee?
it's a very, very good question, and I think that this is one of those formats where it feels like a ton of stuff is playable because it is, and I don't envy players that are going to Milwaukee. I think, well, it's obviously a great opportunity to play the game at a high level and to get to interact with your friends. And it's, in that sense, I'm jealous. In the sense of trying to work out what to play to gain an edge in this format, I don't envy them at all. I think it's really hard to pick any kind of major front runner. You could make a case for any one of 5 or even 6 decks to be a
Mm-hmm.
very, very valid choice with a complete fair shot at winning the
Mm-hmm.
tournament. Um, Personally, I think I would probably play Purple Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Super consistent, perform to a really high standard
Mm-hmm.
consistently as well.
Good matchup
It
spread.
looks to me like it's literally just a case of which of these top decks best fits my playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be Purple Steel, I think, in a DLC format at the moment. How about for you?
Yeah, I would really struggle between Purple Steel and Blurple for me personally.
Mm,
Both are really good decks, and I would really surely pick nothing else because I don't have that much experience in that. For me, I think it's really hard to evaluate the power levels of these. I would say top 5 decks. What is
yep,
blue green, Blurple, Purple Steel, Amber Steel, and Dogs.
yep.
But I would personally see blue, green, and amber steel a bit lower than the rest of the three. So the top decks would be for me like purple steel, blurple, and dogs right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also a bit like just my feeling. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but I just feel like kind of confident that these both purple decks are really, I think, best decks of the format for me personally.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
the dogs deck is just good because it really punishes blurple by such an extent that you a really hard time to lose, honestly. And that makes it a really, really appealing pick. It's also not super great for. I mean, Purple Steel is favored, but it's not like super favored. So, and it also really good against Amber Steel with in the Under the Sea. So, I think the dog stack is really, really, really good position. The only thing that they don't want to see is blue green because they have Under the Sea as well. So, yeah, very good positioned, but it's not a deck I like. So I would tend to play one of the purple decks, probably also purple steel, because I still would be afraid of some early rounds playing against aggro. And again, as I
Mm,
said, always the blurple matchup is only that it's only that bad that it can get. It's not on the play. You feel on the play. You feel still. I feel good. On the draw, it's of course, and sometimes they high roll and you don't have a good opening, and then the matchup feels awful, of course. But I
mm-hmm.
still think when you're on the play, you have a higher chance of winning than losing. So I think
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. So I would struggle between these two. But probably also play Purple Steel. Would you say would you agree with my statement of these top 5 decks, or would you say there's something um missing, or like I always also said like these top 3 decks? Would you agree with that, or would you say no? Blue, green, and amber steel are up there. I mean, it's not a big
No, I would
difference.
I yeah, I would agree that it's yeah, the difference between them isn't huge, but certainly, that pack of 5 decks looked really, really close for quite a long time. You almost couldn't draw a meaningful distinction between them and their playability, other than that Blurple had much higher representation. The shifts for me recently have been a downtick in Amber Steel,
Hmm.
which is mirrored by an uptick in Dogs.
Hmm.
It feels like the Dogs deck has kind of shown itself to be, at least into the field, the more versatile aggro deck, and a
Hmm.
lot of that's appealing to a lot more people.
Hmm.
So yeah, that shift is kind of mirrored. It's just a movement away from one aggro deck towards the other that
Hmm.
has a bit more game to it. And then blue green is a super super powerful deck. There's no denying it. Um, but it seems to just like its game plan kind of could fall apart a bit more than some other decks. Like its linear runouts with Clarabelles on the play are near unbeatable.
Hmm.
Um, it just has a few like dead draws. It has a few additional failure modes versus some of these hyper consistent decks that I guess puts a few people off. But it's it's not a bad deck by any stretch of the imagination. It does incredibly powerful things, and the people that are good with it should absolutely pick it for the tournament. So yeah, I'd agree that the other two are a little behind the top three,
Hmm.
but yeah, if you're trying to, I think we've sort of touched on this before, where when you have these meta games that are defined, like it's not like someone's coming out with a brew and just smashing this whole tournament. Like people could play more rogue decks like Green Steel, Chromacon, that sort of thing, and still perform well. But for the most part, we know what the format looks like. So really, you're just trying to think about what are the minor shifts that have happened across the player base since DLC Bologna that might inform your deck choice a bit more. And I think those are the big ones. The most notable ones is some people expect to see a little bit less Blurple representation,
Hmm.
which could happen. You could see the Blurple numbers slide while while Purple Steel ticks up a little bit,
Hmm.
and you would probably expect to see lower volume of Amber Steel versus Dogs. But a DLC is a huge format tournament, and tons of people will bring Amber Steel aggro and perform well with it. Like this format does reward it. You can get away with doing some crazy stuff with that deck in this format,
Hmm.
and people will still play it. So I don't think it's why I lean towards the purple decks. Is like the smart money is on consistency. The smart money is on not trying
Hmm.
to read the room too much because you will just hit these. But you can play against any of these decks, and a 5% fluctuation in representation for any of them is unlikely to have a meaningful impact on your schedule of what you play against. Getting through the tournament, you will need to dodge your bad matchups. You will need to find your good ones, and you just need to play something consistent that doesn't have more than one thing you're really hoping not to see. It's what it comes down to for me, and I think a lot of people maybe try to over-engineer outside of that, but play whichever one of these 5 decks makes most sense to you
Hmm.
personally. I think whichever one gels most with your play style, whichever one you find the most fun, that's the pick. Always.
Yeah, and
For me. That's my read.
yeah, and I think you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong too much with any of these 5 decks. I don't think
No.
there's much
The
room
builds are
between
so
them.
set in
Yeah.
stone as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean we can show some lists. Here's for example
Yeah.
my Blurple deck right now, which I'm top 10 on the ladder that doesn't exist. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I think it's pretty standard. I really like the Kidas in the meanwhile against dogs, for instance. They can't get Chromicon. Um, and yeah, I think TikTok is a bit of I found out a bit of the mirror breaker a bit. Especially if you're on the draw, I try to ramp on turn 2 and on turn 3, and then you can play a TikTok on turn 4, which helps you win the evasive force, and they can't play Hades already, so you probably freeze their evasives, and then you can afterwards alter them maybe or something. So that's for me a good line on the draw to because still I think that's the case for every mirror match. On the play draw disparity is really hard to overcome, and that's
Mhm.
all my thinking was how to beat the mirror on the draw, and yeah, I think the rest is so pretty standard. I don't know. There is probably nothing to talk about. The Kidas are maybe the outstanding card here, but also not that outstanding. 3 monsters is something I played from the start because I really convinced about the strength of the card, especially in top deck situations. And yeah, 1 second star, 3 finest keepers felt also red for me. I'm pretty sure, and that's something I say, and I think I'm sure about that. It's wrong to play not one jump behind. I'm pretty sure about it. Frank Carson also said that in an article. He made maths about that, and I think the card is really good. It's not too bad on that. It has even some upsides to the other ramp card. For instance, if you like the line I just described is like you play Tipo on 2, and then on turn 3 you can play your genie or something and still ramp, like sing one jump with your Tipo, and then you
Mm-hmm.
reach 6 ink without even ramping on turn 3. So it helps your consistency and has some upside. I wouldn't play more than one because it's unink, obviously, but I'm really convinced about the one. Additionally, it helps you against blue green. Against blue green, every ramp card in your deck helps that matchup because you basically want to hyper ramp and then deplete your hand and then help them you drawing cards. So yeah, I think that's something I'm really convinced about. The rest is I don't know. If you then play two fine second side to right in the mirror, it can work out. If not, then in other matchups you feel bad about it. So I think there's many things you can't say objectively, but object one shot is something I'm really convinced about. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
You played not that much Blurple, so you can't talk about it very much. I guess.
Yeah, not huge. I mean, I've played against it a ton. I could talk about it from
Yeah.
that perspective. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever you can do to optimize out, like your, as we've said numerous times, the only major failure mode for the deck is missing ramp on 2. Once you have optimized numbers, which, as Frank's shown, the one jump makes sense with that, reduce your chance of doing it. Most consistent deck gets even more consistent. So
Mhm.
I'm here for it. It's exceptionally powerful, exceptionally consistent, and is likely to. I'd be shocked if it wasn't the most represented deck in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and people saying it's the best deck of the format probably are a bit right. Like so, just in the
Yeah, they're probably
vacuum,
right.
it's like yeah, I don't know, so much this deck
Yeah.
can do. Okay, let's move on to Purple Steel. We just showed a second place from Bologna again. I think that's still
Yeah.
a good deck to show because it's performed at a 2000 player tournament on second place. So probably
Hmm.
nothing too wrong about it. Um, yeah, this version in particular is a bit interesting because it only has 3 dogs and also 3
Yeah.
Diablo, which especially 3 Diablo. I mean, 3 dogs I get a tiny bit, but 3 Diablo is so wild to me because I think it's so by far the best one drop. I don't know. It's uh, especially in Purple Steel where you don't struggle against aggro. He helps you so much against Blurple where you chip this lore and then you get the card back. Diablo is
There's
uncuttable
a
for me. But Dog, yeah, even that is wild. But yeah, I mean, worked out for him. What can I talk about it? It's for sure.
there's a
Has
couple of
legs,
reasons
yeah,
why I like.
yeah,
Um, sorry,
yeah. No,
I was
so
just going to say
sorry, yeah,
there's a couple of reasons why I really like this as the example list for Purple Steel,
yeah,
which is that you have a lot of freedom to tweak these numbers, but this list features all of the cards that you probably want to play. You know, they're
that's
all
true.
they're
Yeah,
all here.
that's true.
They're all here, and you can find the numbers of them that best suit you, and
Yeah,
change some of those ones to zeros and some of the threes to fours, basically. So, um, yeah, I think
yeah. It's not
there's
too
a case
different.
to be made for different
Yeah,
numbers of all these
yeah,
things. The Doc and Diablo by far the most controversial, but yeah, your purple steel deck is here before you. You just have to finalize the
yeah,
numbers
yeah,
on it,
yeah, yeah.
and there's not too much more to say outside of that. It's It's this version that's playing Yzmas as well as Dumbos and Genies. So you play the full 12 4 drops that draw cards, and then you have your nice suite of situationally evasive cards to make sure you have loads of ability to draw with Dumbo. Yeah, it's tweak the numbers as you see fit on some of those bits, but it's an exceptionally powerful deck, and yeah, remains my pick for what I would play into the format. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, one of the best decks. There's no doubt in that. Blue green, just shortly go over. I want to show the Rob the Haan deck because I
Yep.
like Rob the Haan. Shout out.
Yes, we love.
And
So yeah.
he made yeah, top 32 in Bologna. And he's for sure one of the best players for these decks, for this deck. And he made I think this is a version he played for very good against Aggro because he plays 3 of these Baymaxes, which is not that usual. Um, but the rest is pretty standard, I would say. I mean, not everyone plays Donald, the 5 cross Donald. Um, yeah, but the rest is, I think, also a good list to show. Um, to be honest, I was not never the greatest friend of this deck because I thought it always to be a bit like Blurple and Bricky. I know it's more than Blurple
Mm,
and Bricky, but it's the upside of blue green is that it's better against Aggro. That's the upside of it. While the downside I would say is a bit less consistent, less card draw, more
mm-hmm.
reliant on certain cards like Clarabelle to
Yep.
get the game plan going. And also against the Blurple matchup in itself, it's not. People say it's good, but I'm really happy to play against it with Blurple. I don't know, I don't mind it. I hyper ramp, and I usually, in average, the Blurple deck top deck's a bit better than this deck. It also
Mm-hmm.
doesn't top deck that bad, but Blurple has like every card draws cards and or like remove something, and here are so many all of this. Yeah, I mean, Blurb has also 1 drops, but here's like these Clarabelles, these one these these Donald Ducks is also not that great in top deck situations. So John Silver is also way worse than the Blurple Monstros and stuff. So it's I would not be that confident with blue green into Blurple against at least against a good player. But yeah, Rob the
Yep.
Han showed that it's very powerful. So want I don't want to talk the deck down. The under the sea thing against Aggro is what makes this deck appealing. Yeah, I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with
Yeah,
everything you said. Yep.
okay.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
And Amber Steel, I think
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing too much that happened. This deck was from Ben. He came second at a CCQ with 84 players. I don't think we need to talk about the deck too much. It's largely solved. Some people tend to play not the Pluto, but most decks are still with the Pluto, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Sven is like this additional card that you could fit in. Fire the cannons. Yeah, I mean most decks play fire the cannons 2 to 3 copies. Um, but I don't know if is there something that
Yeah,
stands out for you.
there's a very, very small number of flex slots here that people can kind of shift around a little bit based on their
Pete maybe,
preferences. But
yeah.
I think, yeah, I think it's like a 56 to 58 card
Mm.
solved deck, isn't it? Like, you know what it does. Ben has named this deck Better to Be Lucky. And it's pretty on the nose. I think a lot of people will play something like this because they fancy their chances at winning some dice rolls and completely crushing some matchups that can't answer it very well. It's a real weapon in a DLC format. Like
Yeah.
it's tough to win a DLC with this deck, but it's very easy to have your run ruined by it.
Yeah,
And it's
doesn't feel
like
good.
while I say it's tough, it is also very possible. Like you can absolutely make top cut of a DLC with this deck. It's powerful enough. There's not a huge amount more to say about it, and that's kind of you'll probably be picking up from hearing us talk. Like the format is pretty set. Like it feels very, very set. So there's not a huge amount to talk about. It's good that you don't have to agonize too much about the minute details of some of these decks because it literally is like 56 to 58 card lock and then put in your own comfort cards and preference cards or silver bullets that you think could be particularly strong into a metagame on the weekend. And that's the job done, really. But for Amber Steel, it's so set. I just think that the
Yeah.
deck isn't likely to change much at all.
Uh, but way more for yeah, I think the last deck we talk about is the Dogs deck. This one
Hmm.
from Cedric won a 71 player tournament, which is well quite
Yep.
impressive. And yeah, for Dogs there are more different routes you can go. You can play with Chromicon, you can play without Chromicon, you can play. Yeah, I think Under the Sea is probably the two of them in any list. But yeah, especially Chromicons are something you could play or not play. Um, but I think this list that we see here is like a very, I would say, standard dogs list that we saw from also from sailors and sands of this kind. So um, yeah, I think it has this potential of beating everything. That's the appealing part of it.
Hmm.
And I think that's why many of these big players played it in Bologna, for instance, like San and Zack and Sailor, like all of these, you could say, masterminds of Lorcana, decided to play this. And also, like, it's exactly the players that I think do the most theory crafting and most like
Mm.
kitchen table playing, like playing 8 hours a day against themselves, playing both decks, and note their outcomes in a piece of sheet of paper, like in like after 80 games, and so they know how every matchup exactly is, and it's what we should do also, but we don't do it. We just jam some games because we are not professional enough. Um, yeah, and this deck can, yeah, you basically wins against Embassy with Under the Sea, wins against Blurple with Chromicon, and yeah, against everything else, it has a decent aggro game plan
Mm.
that revolves around the 7 cost tramp. I think everyone probably knows the deck. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was never. I don't know how you feel about it. It was never a deck for me because I didn't like the play style, and I still think it's a bit of a dangerous deck concept in general moving forward to new sets because I would like to have the game a bit more interactive, and this deck basically
Mm.
does nothing till it does everything. So it's not great also to watch honestly, because it's like, yeah, especially in the mirror match, you see these staring boards, and then you first things Under the Sea wins the game. So um, yeah, it's not the play style for me, but I think it's an exceptional deck and one of the best decks of the format. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I completely agree about its overall strength. It's also a bit of a trap deck. Like a lot of people will look at this and see it as a linear aggro deck, which it
Yeah, no.
certainly is and certainly can be. But there's the lines are a lot more adaptive than Amber Steel, for example. You
Hmm.
would change your plan quite significantly and change your mulligans quite significantly based on your opponent once they're known. Um, in that sense, it is one of those decks that massively rewards a lot of experience, rewards really deep game knowledge, and just is very, very good and capable of beating anything in the hands of a very experienced player. So it has a lot more depth than your average aggro deck, and it just has, yeah, way more it can do in response to other things. But a lot of people will pick it up and just try to go sideways as quick as possible,
Yeah,
and
that's
often lose and have bad results with it. Yeah, now we're really seeing this has been one of those decks that has had an unfolding narrative behind it throughout the set, where at the start it was kind of a sleeper, people didn't expect it too much. It established itself reasonably quickly as another aggro contender, but people were choosing Amber Steel over it largely. And as the format has settled, it really has established like the toolkit it needs to beat a lot of matchups. And people that have played it a lot and spent a lot of their time and effort developing it and now reaping the rewards, it really is starting to see a big uptick in results. And if you're looking for metagame movements, like I say, I think a lot of these movements are negligible. You shouldn't read too much into them. But Dogs Rising is one of the movements that you could realistically make some adjustments to your deck based on. Certainly, there are decks that, like, for example, flat out lose to an Emerald Comic-Con
Mm-hmm.
that may consider packing 1 or 2 silver bullets that can help them
Mm-hmm.
answer some items
Mm-hmm.
so that they don't do that quite so often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So we will be excited. What's coming up in Milwaukee? I will be. I really love to watch that again. And we will see who will win the first DLC in NA and will
Mm.
qualify for Worlds, which is crazy. Really cool that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
imagine the feeling of being qualified for Worlds
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
first DLC is just, it would be so, so good.
Yeah. But now let's talk about the new sets. There are so many things that got revealed that we need to talk about, and I hope we get that all finished
Mm.
in the time. I think maybe it will be a, a longer episode this week, but let's see. Um, we made some. I made some categories. I want to talk about some cards we need to obviously talk about. Then I
Mm.
think some cards that have potential, some underrated cards, and some overrated cards.
Mhm.
That's how I want to talk about it. And
Yeah.
you already also want to talk. Maybe we have some. Probably we have some similarities, but
Yeah,
let's
I think
start.
we'll have similarities.
The obvious ones we need to talk about. Yeah,
Mhm.
the first one is
Mhm.
Cindy. Yeah, the new Cindy, 4 cost 2/3. When she comes into play, and you played a princess this turn, and she's herself a princess, you can ink 1 card from your hand at the end of the turn, which
Mhm.
can also be an uninkable. So any card, and you may draw a card then. Yeah, that's the new ramp card. This ramp dex card. So and now let me explain it. We had a nice argument in our Discord about this card. I said she's not dead. She's not dead. Insane. And some other people I don't, not you, but some other people said it will break the format, and I don't know. It's I have a thought experiment for you. Yeah. Um,
Mm.
if you if a card would say 4 cost inkable, yeah, 4 cost
Mhm.
inkable. When she comes into play, 2/3, put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exert it. How strong would
Mhm.
you think the card is?
I would say that is a playable power is relative
Sorry, you have
to
to
how
say it again. You were like cut off. I don't know why. Internet is
oh, sorry.
so sorry. Yeah.
It's dipping maybe. Um, I would say that is a playable card,
Mm-hmm.
definitely,
Mm-hmm.
and its power and how much you want to play it rests on how relevant its 4 cost is. So if we look back into the past at cards like Grammatala,
Mm-hmm.
Grammatala was a card that is very, very fair, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
do a massive amount. It doesn't really advance the game plan of these ramp decks very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a gap filler. Um, and its strength existed in the fact that it was a 4 cost card in a format with How Far I'll Go, where you could additionally ramp and you were looking to sing a 4 cost song on the turn after playing your 4 drop. So anything with 4 printed on it, if I'm singing something that costs 4 or even 3, and consistently, then I value it much higher than I typically would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the only argument I said I didn't, by the way, before the people uh, yell at me, I didn't say Cindy is bad. Yeah, but I did say she's not much better than that. She's not that much
Yep,
better
sure.
than a 4 cost that puts the top card of your deck into your Inkwell Fest on Excel. Just for explanation, you of course you draw a card with her, but you also ink a card from your hand. So for the listeners, it's the same for your hand economy. If you put the top card of your deck into your Inkwell Fest on Exerted, then of course, you can do an uninkable then from your hand, and then you can fix your hand a
Mm-hmm.
bit. But she's uninkable herself, so it's like I don't know if that's weights out the upside. If it's more an upside to ink uninkable cards, or if it's more an upside to be to be inkable herself. So, for instance, the 5 cost Donald Duck that inks the top card of your deck would be completely unplayable. I think if it would be uninkable, I would say. So it's like she's a good card, but I think she's not that outstanding. And after that, she the upside of her is really hard to pull off. And so, yeah, of course, you can play another city, Cindy, and she will be played. I don't think she's bad, of course. Yeah, okay. That's just for the record. I want to say she will be played. She will serve a decent role in these decks, but she won't break the game. That's just my statement right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Like, it's hard to imagine her breaking the game when ramp decks are already completely fundamental, like make up a huge part of the metagame at the moment, and all she does is provide additional routes to ramp, filling in that gap and making sure you hit 6 ink on turn 4. Decks can already do that. How much can she really break the game when that's already a possibility? I just think it's very, very strong. And like it is worth noting that yes, it's the same hand economy as the effect you described, but inking the worst card in your hand, or the biggest brick in your hand to redraw something new is
Of course, an upside, yeah.
really is is really big upside. And I just even if the deck has no more princesses in it, when it comes to later in the game, I can imagine myself paying for the additional second one, and then at the end of your turn, you just get to ditch your two, like maybe two cards that situationally aren't very good in your hand into the inkwell to redraw two cards. Like it just,
By that part, by
th-
that by that point of the game, you will have no bad cards in your hand left. No bad cards.
yeah, maybe.
That no, I don't know.
Mm,
I don't want to say she's bad. I don't. That's again. I don't want to say that. No, that anyone
you shouldn't
say.
because she's definitely not bad.
Yeah, she's not bad and she's a good card. I didn't want to say she's bad. I just want to make it like put that in like how do you say, like in the right light. I think she's good. She will be played.
Yep, for
Get your
sure.
Cindy's, but um, yeah, I'm interested in. I also think she's very bad at it, so you need to be careful against some other decks that play mainly meaningful stuff. Like if your opponent plays a genie and you play Cindy, you still feel bad. So it's like, yeah.
Mm,
Let's see. Let's see. Um, for sure, a good card. Is there any
yes,
what card would you want to
definitely a
take?
good card. Well, I think another really obvious one
Yeah,
that bears some discussion is Goliath,
yeah,
the Steel Legendary.
yeah,
This is generating a lot of discussion, and it is obviously a powerful card.
yeah.
Um, it provides these additional kind of dock type effects for these curve out decks, between Demona, Goliath,
Mm-hmm.
Dock,
Mm-hmm.
many incentives to dump your hand, curve out, and top it with something that helps you draw up. Additionally, it's also a very large, significant body,
Mm-hmm.
and it threatens to repeat the effect. It's mirrored, which is mixed
Yeah.
in terms of its quality.
When I saw how can I say, when I saw the Demona, I got
Mhm.
it a bit more than this one. I think this is also a really strong card,
Yeah.
but Demona seems a bit stronger for me. So you could say, yeah, it's a dog-like effect, but that's something that's a bit like dangerous because I don't know if you can play a lot of these high cost cards in a dock like strategy. So it's like
Yeah, sure.
it's like hard to say if that's it's probably still good enough, but you can't play that on curve probably because you don't have that few cards in your hand left, I guess. So you can't play like turn 2 ramp, turn 3 ramp, then play this. I think you can't. I don't know exactly the math, but you should have more than 2 cards left. So so it's later, and then
Mm,
yeah. Also, your opponent, people think, oh, this is great because your opponent has to discard then his hand to 2 at the end. But your opponent won't be stupid. Like they, you don't pass and they play 2 finders keepers or something in that turn. They will like either remove it or deplete the hand themselves and also get the draw. So I don't know. It's not a it's of course a good card, but I'm curious how good it is. I don't know. Do do you think it's really how do you yeah, I mean you said already how you feel about it, but
I think it's very strong. Yeah, and
yeah.
actually, this is this is such a basic
Yeah, it's very
this
strong.
is
It's very
such a
strong.
basic rules question, but at which point in your turn do you draw your card before or after you ready your characters?
Um After you're ready with why?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's relevant. I was just double checking because I was just thinking about the fact that this always draws each player up to 2 on their end. The end of your turn, you draw up to 2. The start of your turn, then you draw your third card. If you drew that third card before readying your characters, the effect on this would because it's basically like they don't
Okay. I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I
yeah,
understand.
it's
Yeah.
it's always going to put you on 3 cards at the
Yeah,
start
yeah.
of your turn, which means your
This will
gargoyles
ready.
wouldn't ready.
Yeah, yeah. This will
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this it would be very, very bad if it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
made
yeah.
itself terrible. I was thinking about it through the lens of doing that to your opponent, which could
Yeah.
be pretty significant, but, yeah. And it's a punisher effect for hoarding cards for the
Yeah, yeah.
opponent, you know, like, they have to discard down and draw 2. They can't do that, so they can't just sit there hoarding cards, which is something that some decks can do. It's greater incentive if it becomes a staple of the metagame, it's greater incentive to be playing a deck that dumps your hand as well, like, the
Hmm.
more your opponents are threatening to do this, the more you also just wanna be aggressively curving out. Um, it's certainly powerful enough to be a very, very playable card.
Of course,
Um,
yeah. Of course, of
its
course. Yeah.
its quality its quality will depend on a few factors, um, but yeah, I mean,
I think the Demona, for instance, I saw and think, I don't know. You can play this in every amethyst and as a 3 or 4.
yep,
I don't know. And this is like a build around cards.
it's more situational for
Yeah, it's
sure.
more situational, yeah. But it's still strong.
It's
Still
not
strong.
quite as if you look at Demona and see the fact that you have what essentially can be a game-ending effect in
Hmm.
exert the entire opposing board,
Yeah.
and then, like,
This is
dock yourself up to
yeah, this is
3,
so
and
stupid.
it's like, who ca like, that card is crazy.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
card is really good, as long
And
as the
this is a
decks come
build
together
around.
for it, which
And this is a build
yeah,
around.
yeah, this is a little more situational, yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Um the next card is what is a great name in German. And I
Mhm,
I say you know German and you need to repeat. I think it's the hardest word to pronounce in German for non-German
mhm.
people. It's
Okay, I'll
furchterregend,
try.
furchterregend, schrecklich. Stop it. You can't.
I need to see I need to see the German version of the card in front of me
Wait.
to even have a go at that.
No, you
Do you
don't
have
need
it
to.
there?
Wait, I sent you. I sent you. Oh, that's funny though. Uh, for all German speakers here, that will be funny now.
Okay. Holy, yeah, this is tough. Right. Breathe. Okay. Furchterregend, schrecklich.
That was really good. That was really good. You sound like a Spanish guy a bit, but it was really good. Furchterregend,
Really?
schrecklich. That was really good, Eddie. I'm really
Oh,
wow. You impressed me. That was
my
great.
role as an honorary German is preserved. That's good.
Furchterregend, schrecklich. But the effect of the card is even more important because I think it's a really strong
Yes.
card. It's a 3-cost song.
That's I need to stop you a second. That's such a funny statement to make. The effect of the card is more important than its name. Yes, most of the time a card,
most,
most of
most
the time a card's effect is more significant than its name. Yeah,
for competitive players, I would say
yeah,
yes. Yeah, but the effect is really strong. It's put 1 damage. It's a 3-cost song.
yep,
And put 1 damage counter on each opposing character, and it's put 1 damage counter, so it overcomes resist.
yep,
And I think that's very cheap for that effect. I don't know.
for sure.
And a song and good against aggro, and yeah, I would be really surprised if this will not see play. I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, yeah, it's. I'm immediately interested in on when I have access to 6 ink. I want to sing this with my 3-cost ward, Prince Charming. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Prince Charming,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then shift on top of
Prince
it.
Philip. But yeah,
Prince Philip, sorry, not
yeah,
Prince Charming.
and then
Yeah,
shift and wipe the
it's a
board. Yeah.
one-sided board wipe. This enables it immediately. They're in the same colors.
Yeah,
Feels like a slam dunk to me.
this one-sided board wipe is already like going through the community, and the appealing part of it is like all of these parts are inkable, so it's
Mm,
kind of a consistent board wipe. All of these cards are also not terrible in itself, so
yep.
should be should be should be kind of appealing. I already thought about even green purple because
Mm,
um, you have a way to catch up. Um, you can use the purple draw engines and have a way to catch up, and maybe that's something to try out.
yeah.
You can go more of a discarded route and play this as a if your opponent like completely floods the board with big bodies or something, you have a way to deal with that. Um,
Mhm.
Something worth trying
Yeah.
out, I think.
There's I guess a lot of people might be skeptical about we see plenty of these things that are essentially like 3-card combos to do something
Hmm.
really powerful, and quite rightly, you should be skeptical about those
Of
things. It
course,
is hard to pull the piece.
of
It's
course.
hard to pull the pieces together, but there are several things that make this much more significant than and likely to be highly playable than some of the others. The first is that all the pieces are inkable.
Hmm.
All the pieces are the same color. This doesn't force you into a single color
Hmm.
pair. Um, and the fact that there have been many powerful things you can do by shifting a specific character on a specific turn in conjunction with another effect, but the fact that the primary shift target for Prince Philip has ward
Hmm.
will make it far more consistent to pull
Hmm.
off.
Hmm.
Um, one of the small saving graces is that because you're playing green, you can play Ursula, which means you have a chance of disrupting your opponent, wiping your board as well. So you actually you're also playing the best color to prevent this happening to
Hmm.
you, which is good. And then the sort of the final check and balance on it not being insanely overpowered is that the big Prince Philip is, it's not something you're really hard casting. It's very
Yeah.
costly. When it doesn't do much to the board, it's a can be a low impact card. Like if that just gets sent to your inkwell by a Hades or something, and it didn't really do much, and it's kind of weak. But I think the combination of cards is very playable. It's definitely something I'll be looking at. It's definitely a direction I want to try taking green steel in
Hmm.
next set. And there are a few avenues for that deck, but I think this was certainly one of them. Yeah, I'm excited. It's powerful and swingy. It's
Yeah.
looks really cool.
It's strong, obviously.
Yep,
I could
definitely.
also see that being like replacing the if blue-green is still a deck, like maybe this is just a better way of having access to board wipe than these Under the Sea stuff, because Under the Sea is such a bad card, like uninkable and stuff. And these
Yep.
are all inkables. And I mean, this card in itself is also like reasonable. I think
Yeah,
in some
it can do
situations.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna like it puts a damage counter onto like rhinos, for example, and opens up your ability to just take those out, and when that can be very tough for some decks. And yeah, it just is quite a flexible good card as well. Just it does stuff.
Yes. Next card. I don't know. Do you have an obvious one? I have two left. I mean, yeah, two of them. I mean, one is
Yeah.
for sure for me one of the favorite card of the set right now. I don't know what
Yeah,
you
well,
have.
I'll tell you one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very obviously powerful card that solves a specific problem, which is Lexington, the steel gargoyle.
Is
Three
this
cost
the
4/4 with
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the 3 cost 4/4 with alert.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a 3 drop that can just straight up hit a genie and live and
Yeah.
take it out right away. Um, a 3 cost 4/4 inkable is a very significant stat line for a card anyway, so it's like oversized, also challenges evasives. Um, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a you know it builds on. It obviously has the Stone by Day drawback, which means it's only really going to be super playable in some steel decks, but a lot of these steel decks aggressively curve out anyway. It's taking what the steel
Mm-hmm.
genie was doing for decks last time, and adding that all important final point of strength onto
Mm-hmm.
it that means it can cleanly punish genies. Yeah, big fan. Be shocked if it wasn't playable.
Yeah. You talked about slam dunks. I mean, this is the most obvious slam dunk in any
Yep.
mid-rangey purple, not purple steel,
Hmm.
any steel deck probably like that wants to curve out or something. When we talk about these gargoyles, I have also like one of my favorite cards is the Bronx. Bronx.
Hmm.
I saw this card and I was blown away. I thought like, okay, this card in itself, but you need to see it in context, because like if we get more of these like really huge bodies, it gets a lot worse. But a through 3 cost 6/4 reckless helps you surviving the early game nearly alone. I don't know. This is so stupidly oversized. This this eats. Yeah, I mean, it not eats exactly Tiana, because it only does 3 to Tiana, but it still does 3 even if you pay not to a Tiana. So and it eats everything else. I don't know if you play this on turn 3 and on turn 4, you can. It feels like you can do everything you want in the game till turn 8 or something.
Yep.
um, and that's something that enables slower Ruby decks to exist again, by itself. Nearly again, it's like you really don't need that much more than playing this on turn 3, at least if the environment is like right now, and makes something like red purple for me very appealing, or some other strategies that want to reach endgame with a Ruby combination. I don't know. It's if the format would be as it is right now, this card would be absolutely crazy powerful. And I would be surprised if it isn't. It also it's cool because it incentivizes you to not play paired with Sapphire, because it's a weird card, because you don't want to ramp when you play this in card in your deck. You want to curve out a bit more. Like if you ramp on turn 2, then you have this read up. It's weird. So you want to pair Ruby with something else when you play this card. And when I saw these cards, that's what I wanted to ask you. When I saw all these Gargoyle cards, and
Mm.
how huge they are and how powerful, maybe we underestimate this Stone by Day effect. Maybe we underestimate it. I thought maybe they
Mm.
tested it and maybe they thought it's way more limiting that we think it is. We think is okay, this comes ready into play. snack something, then at some point it gets ready again. I don't know, and maybe it's more limiting than we think it is, because these gargoyles
Yeah,
all seem so stupidly powerful. Um, I don't know how you feel about it.
yeah. Um, it's something I've been thinking about as well, is that this could be a pretty significant drawback. Um, one of the things that makes me less worried is that you're not really looking to get these cards in play and just start turning them sideways.
Yeah,
They
that's
are
true.
all
Yeah.
they come into play and they're big. They come into play unexerted. They are big and they all freeze the board immediately because they
Hmm.
outsize the other stuff in play. So your opponent now can't really it shuts down some of their good quests because they, you know, you play a Bronx, they're just like not going to turn their 3 strength stuff sideways. You're going to take it out, whatever it is. Um, so it just freezes the board, which means you're not under pressure to turn it sideways. You can still have a decent number of cards in hand, and it's not a massive punisher. But there are lots of these effects in the game, and there are more coming that exert your characters. And I'm thinking, what if I play like a fair attrition war where I use my gargoyles to freeze the board, then my opponent exerts them, and they're like locked until I dump my hand, which I might not be able to do.
Hmm.
Like it could be a pretty significant downside. Um, so yeah, I think that we're not really in a world where it's just play my Lexington and turn it sideways every
Hmm.
turn because
Hmm.
nothing trades positively into it, but it's more that these are just tools for freezing the board, and I'm
Yeah.
mostly thinking about them as like what do the aggro decks do? You know, that's
Yeah.
really freezes stuff up for them. Even cards like Calhoun start to look outclassed, which
This
is
Bronx eats a
crazy.
Calhoun and then nom nom nom, and
Yeah,
then yeah, and then still is there for 6-1. I don't know. I think that this is for me the obviously most. I think just in a vacuum for me, this is the most powerful card of the set. That's just for me my hot take.
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Do you
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that, but I do.
do
I
you
will say
know
that like
do you know how crazy good Maui was? Do you remember that?
yes, I remember. I played many games of Lorcana while Maui was legal.
Such
Yeah,
a stupid question from me. Um,
just several thousand of them. Yeah,
this is 2 turns earlier. I don't know, but it's just in the game. It would be right now. If we get a lot of this Lexington and stuff, then of course it's not that good. And then I mean already probably it's not one of the best cards in the set, because there were so many big bodies revealed yet, so it
yeah,
gets relatived out. Um, so already take that back, but it's
yeah.
I think I really still like it. But you think it's still strong, you think, right? The Bronx.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
totally.
Okay.
They're definitely strong. But I've got another on my list of obviously
Uh-huh.
powerful. I'm cheating a bit and just casting a broad umbrella here.
Okay.
I've just said big vanillas. Like
Uh-huh.
in terms of the greatest impact on what's playable in the game, there are just a ton of big vanilla characters getting printed in this set.
Yeah.
This is the first set that really changes. You know, we talk about cards being above rate and giving more
Yeah,
stats
yeah.
or more effect for your cost. Um, you know, this is the first set that actually disrupts what the going rate is. Like it, there's a inkable 3-drop 4/4,
Mm-hmm.
Bagheera, I think it is, in
Bagheera,
amber. That
yeah.
is crazily, significantly above
Yeah.
rate based on what we've seen in the
Yeah.
past, but also now seems to just be the rate. Like, this
Yeah.
changes everything
Yeah,
fundamentally.
that's
You
true.
must re-examine what you can play. These curve outs of like 1-drop Calhoun, something else that frees the, you know, think about a purple steel run out. Diablo, Calhoun, 3-drop Genie. Every one of those can be outclassed on every one of those turns by a new vanilla in this set.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is a very big change. Like your definition of what is realistically playable and is going to enable you to actually like quest while curving out must completely change. So yeah, I it's hard to imagine anything having a bigger overall impact on the game than that. Just the going rate for things is
Mm-hmm.
shifting,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that should make you reconsider every card in your deck.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
you must now consider how these things line up into an entirely new breed
Mm-hmm.
of large vanilla and overstated characters, which find themselves so far above the previous rate
Mm-hmm.
that they are playable by default.
Speaking about it, also this
Ha-
2-cost Diablo, this new one, the Ruby
Yep.
one, same story. Like, I mean, this is not overstated by strength or willpower, but 2-cost 3/3 quest for 2 is. We all know what we had there in the past. That quested for 2 on 3/3. It
I
was a
don't know what you're trying to
pirate.
suggest. Like, can't tell what you're getting at.
No, but this is uninkable though.
Mm,
But has not the upside of getting damage like me in the past. So I think, yeah, it needs to turn out. Needs to see if aggressive Ruby strategies are something, because this is mainly an aggro card, but not maybe not only. It's hard to say. Um, but Ruby aggressive strategies was never something in this game. So yeah, the card is good. Card is good, no doubt. Diablo, but needs to see if it sees play. I would doubt it more now
mm.
than I would see it. But I don't know how you see it. Maybe it's also good for just slower decks to just 3/3 and slapping everything. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
it's made the big concern for me is like if you're giving an uninkable slot to a 2-drop that's, the thing that it's doing above rate is questing for 2 instead of 1. So if you're giving up an uninkable slot in your deck to do that, you have to be pretty confident that you're going to be doing some aggressive questing with that
yeah,
card. And
yeah.
the things that makes me worry about that is that like 50% of this set appears to be cards that completely freeze the board on turn 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much Diablo questing I'm doing when like everything is
Or
3
maybe,
fours on 3, 4 fours on 3,
or
6 fours on 3. It's just
or maybe we have to play Go-Go again. Maybe that's something we need to
yeah.
do.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I certainly think that Go-Go is one of those cards that gets better as bodies get bigger and things carry more damage. Go-Go in general
yeah,
uh, takes another tick up in power.
yes, for sure. Um, yes, that was the really obvious ones for me this week, which got
Yeah.
revealed. Additionally, we have some cards that I think could have potential. Is there something for you that you think is? I have in
Yeah, I
mind,
can
for
probably.
example, the Cheshire Cat, the 3-cost Cheshire Cat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a 3-cost 3/4 boost. Oh, boost 1 or 2 was it? Oh, wait, I have to see. I don't know. I think it's
I
boost
think it's
2.
2 on Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, and has like the spell ability, like also it's 3-cost 3/4, which is good, but it's maybe not good anymore. But it's
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
it was
No,
good.
for real
That's
though. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
But it was good, and it has boost 2 and can then move 2 damage from one when you boost it. You can move 2 damage, which is the spell effect, which was strong in this format, so it seems appealing.
Hmm.
Um, but probably, I don't know. Maybe it's not good enough. But I don't know. I don't know how you feel about the card.
I feel pretty. I think you hit the important thing on the head
Yeah.
there, which is that this is yeah really the point I wanted to make. Like in terms of actually like valuable takeaways for listeners and stuff, and an overall insight that might be useful for your early stage deck building for Whispers in the Well. You must evaluate these cards based on the new going rate for characters, which is that when you see 3/4s, it's exciting. 3/4 for 3, Inkable is above rate, and then they have upside. Consider how these cards line up into 3-cost 4/4s.
Yeah.
Consider how they line up into 3-cost 6/4s.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's not above rate anymore.
Yeah.
It's on rate, and the other cards like Lexington offer you an additional point of stats in addition to these like situational boost upsides that these cards have. Um, and that could be more significant because it's going to
Yeah.
freeze the board up. It's going to stop you doing anything meaningful with this early. Um,
That makes a lot of
I'm not
sense.
all of these. I really like all of these 3/4s with
Mm-hmm.
upside. I think they're great cards, and they have it's like the mega rare as well. I'm a big fan of these cards, but I think it's a mistake to look at them as overrate slam dunks because it is so obvious that the going rate is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we must consider what these things look like. Like we even have that Iago, right? We have a 2-cost Inkable Iago with
Yeah.
Challenger 5. There
That's
are
a good
things that
card,
can
I think.
punch for big early. Yeah, I think it's a good card. Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be totally playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so too.
Um,
Do you have
yeah.
something?
Um, Yeah, so I have a few things that I think it could qualify as sleepers. I don't know if this is a sleeper because people are high on it, but the Scuttle, 5-cost Inkable, 5/5 quest for 2 and has
Ward.
Ward,
Mm-hmm.
a very strong,
Of
um,
course. Of
yeah,
course. Absolutely.
a very strong vanilla light card. Um,
In the
yeah,
context of the meta,
Veridex.
how it would be right now, that would be a good card. Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, yeah, exactly. Based on what we know right now, it would be very, very playable. Having these there are decks like blue green that can really benefit from having some chunky ward characters
Mm-hmm.
that they do just play kind of like Baymax does. They form a similar role of just being a big body that is going to check a load of stuff on board. They also have wards, so they're going to survive as your under the sea singers. um yeah, good flexible card. Shouldn't see any reason why it's not playable unless it is entirely outclassed by things that are bigger than it because they are
Mm-hmm.
so far above rate, they're bigger than it. But on paper, it should be playable. And then the other thing I've noted is I've just again done a catch-all. The detective package.
Mm-hmm.
I think that these detectives as a like archetype with a lot of their synergies that are baked into the set could be very playable. I think that it could
Yeah.
be a very real deck.
Me
A lot
too.
of the ones we're seeing now, like the Shift Judy, they
The
have
Shift
some
Judy
real potential.
The Shift Judy in itself is something I really want to point out. I think that card is really strong. Nobody talks about it. It snacks evasive like nothing. And it doesn't need to snack evasives itself. You just play this. All your other characters can. I mean, if your opponent has a white board and is everything exerted, your whole board snacks everything your opponent has immediately when you play her. You don't even need to shift her. Your other
Mm,
detective characters immediately gain this alert and resist +2. This is amazing. I think that's an amazing card.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, very. A lot of these cards are very significant. I just, yeah, at the earliest possible stage, which is right now, just kind of going on record to say I think there is very much something there. I'm interested in testing and exploring
Mm-hmm.
it. Green Steel is my first place of starting with building. It's the deck I'm enjoying the most at the moment and where I want to kind of focus my attention. But I very much think a detectives deck is worth testing out, based on what we've seen. If it gets any more support, any more kind of, yeah, just a few more of those above rate vanilla lights. It's it's got a lot
Yeah.
going for it, I think.
Right now, even if I have to, if I would have to say it now, I would try to build red purple. I think green purple is still something I
Mm,
don't know how we could make it work. It doesn't seem appealing to me too much. Um, but red purple is
I
really
agree.
something I'm interested. I want to slam turn 3 Bronx, turn 4 Bronx, and then play turn 5 Hades. And people calling us crazy because we said Hades is so strong, but I still think he's strong. I don't know why people say he is not strong. I still think it's a 5 cost 3/4 draw 2. I think that's way above. I mean, the body is
Hmm.
probably not significant anymore in this new context of metagame, but I don't know. I still think this Hades is a super strong card. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
no, no, I was gonna. No, no, if you have more to say, I was gonna just talk about a different card.
Yeah, no, no. That's just I wanted to say. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no. Yeah.
I was just gonna. I was just gonna add that while we're on the topic of, um, while we're on the topic of things that we said that people think are stupid, um, I think that the Shift Daisy is significantly better
Oh
than
yeah,
looked at first glance. I
that's
think
true. Yeah.
that it's very weird. It shows that I wasn't very mentally alert when we were recording last week because I kind of said, well, this would be crazy if you played it on turn 3 and then sort of ignored the fact that you could totally shift it on turn 3. And so you just have to give me some grace there and just fundamentally I saw the power. But yeah, just sort of didn't seem very high on it. I am much higher on that card. I think that it seems unlikely that Sapphire Amber becomes like an insane powerhouse, but it certainly could do. And enough is changing that you will need to look at these other quote unquote unplayable ink colors to see if there's a new way of exploring them. Yeah, I think Daisy, when she shifted or when she's
Yeah,
cheated into play very, very early, is yeah,
impressive.
it
Yeah,
has some real potential. Yeah.
yeah. Then you need the Bronx.
Yep.
uh,
Yes. Well, that's I mean that you say it like it's a joke, but it's totally not a joke. It's like she could be coming into one of the baseline parts of the analysis of Daisy is that you shift her early, she's too big for anything to really deal with.
yeah,
She might not be too big for anything
yeah.
to deal with.
That's
She
true.
might
Yeah,
actually be quite reasonable to deal with.
yeah. Absolutely. Nay, but you're completely right. It's a strong card. But please continue if you watch the ArtaCast. Please continue us calling stupid. I want you to call us stupid because I like the conversation. I like to be called stupid. I like to be called stupid because I don't think CD is the best card in the set. I know 80% thinks it's the best card in the set or something, but I just want sometimes to not agree, just to not agree. Where were we?
You know that the comments are going to be a wall of "you are stupid," and that's it. You are stupid. End sentence.
Yeah, that's.
If you
I'm
watch the
totally
video and
happy.
you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you drop "you are stupid" in the comments.
If I wake up tomorrow, if I wake up tomorrow, and I see my mobile phone and I see you got so many comments like you are stupid, I knew I did everything right. Uh,
Yep, that's how we know that we're loved and supported.
no,
Is
but I'm
uh,
happy. I'm happy to be wrong. But
exactly. It's a good point.
yeah, I'm happy to be wrong, and I'm totally honest saying that I'm not even though I think I'm a good player. No, I think I'm happy to say that it's hard for me sometimes to evaluate some cards because yeah, it's
Mm,
contextual and it needs to also this that's just a good example now. This Xanatos, for instance, David Xanatos. I don't know if you saw the
mm,
card. 3 cost, three
yes.
two. 3 cost, 3/2. You can when he comes into play, you can discard a card to deal 2 damage. That card I saw and I thought, okay, this is extremely mid. But then people saying it's crazy good, and I thought, okay, maybe I'm seeing it. Maybe I see that wrong. I think it's not seems not very appealing to me. I don't know. It's very bad body, especially in this new format. And then I don't know. You discard another card just to do damage. I don't know. Maybe it's okay if you have a very aggressive meta, it's okay. But I don't know.
It, this you would really struggle to find a better example of what I'm talking about with the need to assess cards in the context. And this is why it's so hard with spoiler season is obviously you can't see the full set. Like
Yeah,
how do you assess a card within the context of what's coming when you
of
don't know that
course,
full
of course,
context?
of course.
It's why it's so dangerous. So as content creators, you must make predictions on cards early because you want to talk about them as soon as they're out. But your read will always be flawed because you don't understand the full context. And the David Xanatos I think is a perfect example. I think in past formats, it would have been potentially contesting for the best card in the game. It
What?
could have
Never,
you could have
LD, never
you,
ever, never ever.
you don't
I
you
love
don't
you,
think this
but I think never ever this would be no, never ever.
you don't you don't think a 3/2 body which was very playable at one point that like almost always removes something in the past because everyone was playing these like 2/2s. You don't think that's playable?
I say it's playable. I don't say
Okay,
it's the
okay,
best card of the
right,
game.
right.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's playable, of course,
that's
but
too,
it's not the best card of the
that's
game.
too far.
Yeah.
Like what I've said is too far, but the point I'm trying to make is in previous formats, it would have been very playable. You would have had a very, very playable card on your hands. In the context that's developing around set 10, 3/2 looks like a terrible body. I'm not interested. I don't want to play things with 2 willpower unless they cost 1 and I'm shifting on top of them, or something like that, or there's some upside to it. So the 3/2 body looks worse. The doing 2 damage looks worse because as the overall rate of these cards shifts, the significance of hitting something for 2 really changes. Like,
Yeah, of course.
maybe
Yeah.
you're not killing their 2. Like, this is a world where that very realistically isn't killing their 2-drop. Like, look at the new Gaston. Obviously, you can make debates about the playability of that card, but you understand that there is a rate expectation of 2 drops can be 3/3s with upside.
Mm-hmm.
There's a downside of uninkability, but 2 drops can be 3/3s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the baseline for 2 drops is now 3/3s, then how good is shooting stuff for 2 on 3? Significantly worse. And
Yeah.
then you ended up with a body in play on your turn 3 that is immediately outclassed by your opponent just playing a 4/4 on their turn 3.
Yeah. Of course. Mm.
I think you must
But
evaluate
that was
that card within the
always.
new context.
Yeah, but that was always the case. I don't think. I mean, in some meta games, maybe it kills a Rafiki or something, but that's the
Mm,
best it could get. I don't know if it would be playable right now. Probably it would be. Yeah. Uh, uh,
I mean, all I will say is this looks the tide is turning on the aggro decks, and there's just more and more reason to spend your second turn of the game ramping, I think, than ever.
yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's.
If all these 2 drops are immediately outclassed by giant 3 drops, ramping on turn 2 instead of developing a 2 drop just looks even better to me. That's concerning. I'd like to see the full set before I make a full judgment on
What do you
how.
mean with 2 drops?
What do I
Is
mean
it?
with 2 drops?
I mean, is a 3 drop the Xanatos, or what do you mean?
Oh, I'm thinking about Xanatos in the context of it's only good when you're playing it like your use case for it is you play it on turn 3 and you're aiming to kill a 2 drop.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I understand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're
That's true.
aiming,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I'm kind of pushing it a level further by saying I don't think that small 2 drops are playable at all. The ones that are playable will outsize the amount of damage Xanatos does, and just ramping is better than developing any 2 drop. Of course, you could clean up a Tipo, but then who cares? They play some 4 drop that's gigantic and you lose the game. Yeah, I'm not very high on David Xanatos. I think it's a card that it should be playable in a lot of formats. I think it's going to be less playable in the format we're going into than it
Mm-hmm.
appears it would be.
Yes. Do you know which card I think is a really sleeper? But
Hmm.
that's really, again, something I say because nobody says it, and it's probably not good
Hmm.
enough. But I think the effect is interesting, and is something. I mean, we had it, but not exactly like that. And it's probably undersized, but it's the 5 cost. I know. Wait, I need to see it. It's the weirdest name I nearly ever saw of a card. It's called Gwythaint or something. Gwythaint.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
5 cost 4/3. It's probably totally undersized, and that's why it's not playable. But it's evasive though, and his effect is. I mean, just the effect. Just the effect in itself is something worth talking about because I think Locana is a game that's different to other games I played in the past, like Hearthstone or World of Warcraft TCG, where you can't challenge ready characters, and then you have easy time to secure your last amount of lore when you're, for instance, an aggro deck. And this card
Mhm.
completely. I mean, if you're playing against an aggro deck and they are on 18 or something, and you have this on board, they will never win the game because you like every turn quest with it, and then every turn they need to exert their characters. It's a 5 cost. Sorry for the listeners. It's a 5 cost, 4/3 evasive. Yeah, and quest for 2 also. And when this character quest, each opponent chooses and exerts one of their ready characters. So it additionally overcomes ward because your opponent chooses. I think I can see a world where this card is playable. I don't know. Probably not this set, but I think this is a strong card and nobody talks about it. You're probably a lot lower on it. I think.
No, I think it's a strong card. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I was just thinking about you said about how weird the name is to you. I don't know anything about the Black Cauldron. I don't know anything about
No,
the
me
character,
neither.
but this kind of this I'm going to use a complicated word for you in to try and describe it. You're familiar with the term etymology. Like, etymology is sort of like the way that a word is constructed and where it's come from, like its origin, and like many words have their roots in sort of Latin,
Mm-hmm.
Latin descendancy. This sort of gwyth as a sound to me is
Uh-huh.
very Welsh. It's very
Okay.
Celtic. It's very similar to regional languages in Cornwall, where I'm from, and potentially Gaelic, that sort of thing. It has like Celtic, British origin, or Welsh, or something like that. I would say that if you've never seen that kind of word construction before, it must be very, very weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is Gwythaint? Is it pronounced correctly? If I say Gwythaint,
I
or
think so, yeah,
okay, okay,
I've never heard it out loud, so
okay,
but yeah, it's definitely a gwyth sound.
okay.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's especially if we see less evasives next set, which I could see. I could see evasives going down a bit. I don't know, but maybe not. But if less evasives are in the meta game, that's even more appealing for a card like this. Um,
Mm,
I think the effect in itself is just strong. I don't know. It's so it's overcosted probably a bit, but it's I think the effect is strong. I don't know.
yeah, agree.
Um, what else do we have? I also like the Tremaine. Nobody talks about 5 cost Tremaine.
Mm,
Boost
it's a good
two,
card.
boost two. A 5 cost 5/4. Sadly uninkable. Boost 2, whenever this character quests, if you put a card under her this turn, you may play an action cost with cost 5 or less from a discard for free. Then put that action card in the bottom of your deck. So it needs a bit of setup. You need to have actions card in your discard. And yeah, and then they come. So it's probably hard to make a shell for her. And her being uninkable makes a lot worse for me. But I like the idea of playing her in turn 5.
Mm,
Then next turn, if you only play big bodies, for your next turn you play Big King Undisputed. Turn 6, then you boost her immediately and play Big King Undisputed again. That's something I
yep,
think it's really cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Uninkable really hurts though. I think it's an interesting card that could justify some tinkering. I think I don't know.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I think I got everything. Prince Charming is something I don't understand why people talk about it. Pe- I don't know if I see that
Yeah,
card, people don't look at the effect. If you see a 7 cost 3/10 that doesn't something when it comes into play, it's nearly immediately on the folder of unplayable. Nearly immediately. I
I
don't know how you
mean,
see
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
th I think the card is complete garbage. I just don't see how you ever just how do you justify
Yeah.
playing a big fat body that does absolutely nothing,
Yeah. Really
on the
nothing.
turn it's played, and it costs the exact same amount as, like, the extremely widely played single target removal effect of Hades. Um, you can't play these, like, 7 drops that do nothing and just get Hades. Like,
Yeah,
you already can't
that's
play them. You definitely can't play them after.
yeah.
No, I think, the card reads is completely terrible to me. I'm not
Yeah,
interested whatsoever.
And another card which people thought is really, really crazy good, and I really don't see it, and I just want to say it here publicly, is Fragile as a Flower. It's a 3-cost song. Draw a card. I mean, it's not terrible because it cantrips, but draw a card, except chosen character will cost 2 or less. They can't read it at the start of the next turn. I think if you ever don't sing this card, it's so terrible. You need to sing it. You really need to sing it, and then you exert something. So the singable character can't challenge it, so another character of yours need to do it. So it needs so many things to work for me, and then it's only mid. I don't know. It's
How
absolutely not appealing to me. I don't know.
the question for me is like, when are you doing this?
Yeah.
Such that it's that when are you doing it so that it's significant enough to generate you like an actual advantage big enough to make it worth playing? Like tons of these decks are just ramp decks. They won't even play a meaningful 2-drop. So congratulations, your card does nothing. It just goes straight into the inkwell. A lot of these decks will just curve out, in which case you can kind of lock down a 2-drop. What are you doing with that advantage? You already probably sung this with your 3-drop. It buys you like a quest. It buys you a trade up with a Calhoun. Your Calhoun into their 2-drop. That's probably the best use case. It's never having a swingy enough effect on a game. Basically, it's like it's only relevant early, but also because in that context of it happening early, it doesn't do enough in the game to make it like worth doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like it's just all it does is open things up a little bit more on those super early frozen boards, potentially enables you to get a trade up with a Calhoun. I just don't think it's good enough. I just don't care about this card.
And the last card, and then I'm finished, is Next Stop Olympus. I saw the card being revealed, and I didn't get it. And then people saying this card is crazy good, and I thought again, and still not getting it too much. I mean, Shark is something a bit, but then if you no, I think even Shark, I don't know. Then it needs so many things to go right that this is a crazy combo with Shark or something. Um, I don't get a card. It's making ready for free. Okay, yeah. So sometimes. But if I just compare this card with just a LeFou or something, which is just a
Yeah.
body as well, and I don't know, it needs so many things going right that this card is. But maybe it has some potential with power line or so, and then you can do crazy combos or something. Um, it's I would be really surprised if that card sees play. I don't know.
Yeah, similar. I
Okay,
feel pretty much exactly the same.
okay, good that I'm not completely stupid.
No. Unless both of us are stupid, then we're really in
Oh,
trouble.
really possible that we both are stupid. No.
Very.
Yeah, I think, is there anything you want to talk about?
No, just that the for anyone that missed it, um, we did have a card reveal
Oh
this
yes.
season that was done in this. It was done in a standalone video over on my new YouTube channel, and we'll put a link down below so you can go and see that. It was done as a little comedy skit to try and put a bit more effort into the reveal. So yeah, that's not been previewed this time around on the cast, but I think moving forward it will be. Yeah, a bit of a one-off. So if you haven't seen it, go and check that video out. It's extremely cringy, so please enjoy. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, nice. So thanks everyone for watching. We are happy to hear your thoughts on our stupid takes. And especially my takes are sometimes a bit spicy, I know that. But yeah, I think that's even more entertaining. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Till next time, and bye bye.
Bye bye.